On May 12, 2021, Sonu Patel from Jabalpur had a grand wedding celebration. Just 4 days later, on May 16th, Sonu went to the market, saying he needed to get his wife's phone fixed, but he never came back. On May 24th, Sonu's brother, Narayan, got a call from the police. They had found a bike in the forest and asked Narayan to come immediately. When Narayan arrived, he was shocked. The bike was indeed his brother's, but there was no sign of Sonu. Nearby, the police found a decomposed body, with a face brutally smashed by a stone. The body was in such bad condition that Narayan couldn't recognize it. Later, the post-mortem report confirmed the body was Sonu's. But now, the big question is, who could have murdered the simple and straightforward Sonu in such a horrific way, just 4 days after his wedding? Let's start today's video and uncover the full story of the Sonu Patel murder case. Sonu Patel, a 26-year-old from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, married Gayatri Patel from a nearby village on May 12, 2021. Just a few days after their wedding, Gayatri's mobile phone started acting up. When she told Sonu about it, he promised to fix it as soon as he had some free time. 4 days later, on May 16th, Sonu told Gayatri he was free that day and asked for her phone, saying he'd go to Sihora to get it repaired. It was around 10 in the morning. Gayatri handed over her phone, and Sonu took his father's bike and left for Sihora. The newlywed bride, Gayatri, admired the henna on her hands while waiting for her husband. Sonu had said he would be back in an hour or two. But evening turned into night, and Sonu still hadn't come home. Since the afternoon, Gayatri had tried calling Sonu many times, but his phone was always off. As night fell, Gayatri's worry began to grow. Not only Gayatri, but the rest of the family also started to worry. Around 11 p.m. that night, Sonu's brother, Narayan Patel, filed a missing person report at the police station. The police began their investigation, but they did not show the urgency they should have. While the police conducted their investigation, Sonu's family also tried to find their lost loved one on their own. Despite their efforts, there was no trace of Sonu even after a few days had passed. On May 24, 2021, Narayan Patel got a call from the police. They told him they found a bike in the Hargar forest and a suspicious body nearby. They asked him to come to the site immediately. Fearing the worst, a worried Narayan rushed to the location. When he arrived, he immediately recognized the bike as his brother's. The police then told him about the body nearby. Narayan was devastated and hesitant to move forward. Summoning his courage, he approached the body, but it was in such terrible condition that he couldn't recognize it. The face had been brutally smashed with a stone, and the body was already half decomposed. Near the body, there were some clothes and slippers. Using these, Narayan confirmed that the body was indeed his brother's. The condition of the body was so bad that it was very difficult to take it for a post-mortem examination. After examining the body, it was found that a rope had been tied around the victim's neck, and his hands and feet were also bound with ropes. Seeing this, it was clear to the police that more than one person was involved in the murder. But who were these people? To find this out, the police began their investigation. The post-mortem report confirmed that the body was Sonu Patel's. It was determined that he was murdered between 2 to 3 p.m. on May 16th, and that he was killed by being crushed with stones. The police first interrogated Sonu's brother, Narayan Patel, but Narayan stated that his brother had no enemies. When no clues were found from questioning Narayan, the police decided to question Sonu's wife, Gayatri. In the initial questioning, Gayatri did not provide any useful information. Then, the police asked Gayatri an important question. The police asked Gayatri, "You were with Sonu for 4 days. Did anything unusual happen between you two that might seem strange for a newlywed couple?" Gayatri replied, "Yes, on the second day of our marriage, Sonu and I had an argument." Tears began to flow from Gayatri's eyes as she spoke. The police officer comforted her and asked, "Why did this argument happen?" Gayatri answered, "Because I asked Sonu about Madhu Patel." As soon as Gayatri mentioned the name Sonu Patel, the police officer noted it down and started checking Sonu's call details. This was the same name that appeared in Sonu's call logs, with whom he had spoken 2 or 3 times just hours before his death. The police then asked Gayatri, "Who is Madhu, and why did you argue with Sonu about her?" Gayatri revealed the whole story, explaining that Madhu is the sister-in-law of Sonu's sister. As a relative, she had attended their wedding. However, the day after the wedding, Gayatri discovered that Madhu was not just Sonu's sister-in-law, but had a deeper relationship with Sonu. In fact, Sonu and Madhu had been having an affair for a long time. Madhu herself had told Gayatri about the affair the day after Sonu's wedding. Hearing about her husband's girlfriend the day after her marriage shattered all of Gayatri's dreams. After Madhu left, Gayatri confronted Sonu about it. Sonu tried to reassure Gayatri, saying, "She was in our past. Now I am only yours. Besides, Madhu is about to get married too, so you don't need to worry." After this, Gayatri felt somewhat relieved and started her new life with Sonu. After questioning Gayatri, the police had an important clue. The call details showed that Sonu's last conversation was with Madhu. The police had no choice but to question her. Eventually, they brought Madhu Patel to the police station for interrogation. The first question the police asked was, "How do you know Sonu Patel?" Madhu replied, "He was my sister-in-law's brother." The police then asked, "How long were you in love with Sonu?" Madhu replied, "I wasn't in love with Sonu." Hearing this, the police asked, "Then why did you want to marry him?" Startled, Madhu replied, "What are you talking about? Marrying him is out of the question. I didn't even know him well." Hearing this, the police played an audio recording from Sonu's mobile, where Madhu was heard saying, "I will marry you at any cost, or else I will ruin you." When Madhu heard the audio recording, she began to cry and told the police, "I'll explain the recording, but I didn't kill Sonu." The police officer interrupted her, saying, "I haven't asked you anything about Sonu's murder yet." Madhu was caught off guard by her own words, but still wasn't ready to come clean. To build trust, the police officer said, "Look, you're about to get married. If you tell me everything truthfully now, I might be able to help you. But if you don't, you'll have to face the court, and no one will be able to save you from punishment." Hearing this, Madhu cried again and admitted, "I had no choice but to remove him from my path." The police then asked her to start from the beginning and tell them everything. The way she described Sonu's murder, like an experienced criminal, surprised the female police officer. Before we go on, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Please help us reach 1,000 likes on this video. Now, let's tell you about this incident. Madhu and Sonu's love story was built on wrong relationships and a strong desire for revenge. According to Madhu's statement to the police, she was the daughter of Narayan Patel from Madhai village. She had a brother named Sahil who married a girl named Nidhi in 2019. Nidhi was Sonu's sister. Because their families were involved in farming, they already knew each other and were always willing to help. Sonu often visited Madhu's house because he sold rice and wheat in the government grain market. Since Sonu was Nidhi's younger brother, he frequently visited his sister's in-laws. Sahil's younger sister Madhu was a lively and beautiful girl. She often made jokes and was not shy about speaking her mind. Whenever Sonu visited his sister's in-laws, Madhu would take care of him. Because of their playful relationship, there was a lot of laughter and fun between them. But amid this fun, they unknowingly fell in love with each other. When Madhu came to Sonu's house with her sister-in-law, Sonu's sister, the coronavirus lockdown was imposed a few days later, and all travel routes were closed. As a result, Madhu had to stay at her sister-in-law's house, and during this time, the love affair between Sonu and Madhu deepened. Since other family members were watching them, they started looking for chances to meet alone. Whenever they got an opportunity, they would go to the fields or the nearby forest. One afternoon, when all the family members had gone to a nearby village for some work, and Sonu's sister Nidhi was busy cooking, Sonu and Madhu were sitting in a room watching TV. They were joking around, and suddenly Sonu said, "Madhu, I love you very much." Madhu replied, I love you too, with all my heart and soul." Hearing this, Sonu hugged Madhu and she couldn't resist. As they say, love cannot be hidden, even if you try. The same happened with Sonu and Madhu. When Nidhi realized their love affair, she forbade them from getting married. She said it couldn't happen because it would ruin the reputation of both families in society, could cause future conflicts between the families, and would affect her married life as well. Gradually, the entire family learned about their love affair. Nidhi immediately took Madhu back to her in-laws' place, and to avoid disgrace, they prevented Sonu and Madhu from meeting. But as the restrictions on their love increased, they started expressing their feelings through video calls on their mobile phones. Meanwhile, both families began arranging their marriages separately. Soon, Madhu's marriage was arranged with Vijay Patel from Party Village, and her engagement took place. After Madhu's engagement, Sonu started to change. He not only avoided meeting Madhu, but also stopped talking to her. Although Sonu's marriage was also arranged with Gayatri Patel from the village of Basna in Katni district, Madhu became increasingly distressed over the promise Sonu had made to marry her. She felt deeply hurt because Sonu had sworn love and affection to her. Nevertheless, Madhu managed to come to terms with her feelings and began preparing herself for her new relationship, dreaming of a future with Vijay. However, forgetting Sonu was not easy for Madhu. Memories of their conversations and desires shared over video calls constantly haunted her. About 4 months before the murder, Sonu visited Madhu's house. With their weddings arranged in different places, the previous restrictions on their meetings were no longer in place. This allowed them to meet and talk as before. Despite their separate engagements, Sonu took advantage of an opportunity and rekindled a physical relationship with Madhu. Not only that, but Sonu also made an obscene video of Madhu, which he later used to threaten her. He referenced this video during their conversations, and Madhu suggested that they forget everything and start new lives. In response, Sonu began threatening to make the video public. So things went on, and Sonu got married on May 12, 2021. However, because of the lockdown being reimposed, Madhu's wedding date couldn't be set. After that, Sonu called Madhu several times on May 15th, just 3 days after his wedding, asking to meet her. On the phone, he told Madhu that since she was about to get married, she should be with him one last time. Madhu agreed and said, "All right, I'll meet you one last time, but it must be done my way, and I'll choose the place." Sonu asked, "What place and how?" Madhu replied, "I'll tell you everything on the 16th because I want our last meeting to be special. Call me at 10:30 a.m. and I'll let you know where to meet. But you must do everything as I say. And first, delete all my inappropriate videos in front of me." Hearing Madhu's words, Sonu became excited and immediately agreed. The next day, on May 16, 2021, at exactly 10 a.m., Sonu took his father's motorcycle and reached the place Madhu had mentioned near Sindham Temple. When he arrived, he called Madhu multiple times, but she didn't answer, which made Sonu anxious. He called again, and this time, Madhu answered and said she would be there in 10 minutes. Shortly after, Madhu arrived with her aunt's daughter, Nimsa. Sonu asked where they should go now. Madhu replied, "The same place we used to meet before, in the Hargad forest." The three of them reached the outskirts of the Hargad forest in half an hour on the motorcycle. Sonu parked the motorcycle by the roadside and told Nimsa to wait there. He then went into the forest with Madhu. They found a small clearing among the bushes and sat down. Madhu took out a stole from her handbag and spread it out, a place where they often had romantic conversations. Sonu lay down on the stole, and Madhu said in a romantic tone, "Today, I will tie your hands and feet with rope and also blindfold you. After that, we will make love." Hearing this, Sonu felt a bit strange, but driven by his desires, he agreed and lay down on his stomach as Madhu instructed. Madhu then tied Sonu's hands and feet with a rope, and as soon as he lay down, she climbed onto his back. She then picked up a heavy stone lying nearby and struck Sonu on the head. Before Sonu could comprehend what was happening, Madhu repeatedly hit him with the stone. With his hands and feet tied and his eyes blindfolded, Sonu couldn't defend himself. Afterward, Madhu strangled him with a rope, and within moments Sonu was dead. She then removed the blindfold from his eyes and untied the ropes from his hands and feet, but left the rope around his neck. She took the stole they had sat on and put it back in her bag, then struck his face several times with the stone. When she got home, Madhu burned Sonu's phone, his ATM card, and his handkerchief, then threw the ashes out with the trash. After confessing to the crime, Madhu told the police that she was deeply troubled by the inappropriate videos Sonu had made of her, and she thought the only way to solve the problem was to end his life. Because of this, Sonu Patel was charged with Sonu's murder under IPC sections 302 and 201 and was taken to court. Nimsa was also charged under IPC section 201 for hiding evidence and was sent to a juvenile correctional facility in Shadol, while Sonu Patel was sent to the women's jail in Jabalpur. What do you think about this entire incident? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you liked our efforts, please like and share this video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe. Thank you.